What's up, Shop World? In the last video, I showed you how to glue this box together. Now what I'm going to show you how to do is how to put the top on the box. Actually, not how to put it on, but how to put it together. So this is our blueprint, which we did in the first two videos here. And this slides perfectly over that rectangle there, which is the view from the top going down. So this fits perfectly on there, and now we're gonna design our top. So what I've got here is I've got this box, and it's full of all the scraps from cutoffs and all sorts of things, and you can pick out any scraps you want, and you can just make your own top. It doesn't have to have a specific pattern. It can be any pattern that you want. So this is a great use of leftover materials, is you can go ahead and put them in there any way you want. So I've gone ahead and I've picked out a few of these scraps here, and I've made a pattern for mine. The most important thing, actually the only thing that really matters, is that after you create your pattern, you put it together, dry, not with glue on it yet, and you make sure that it's wider than your box itself. I've got about 1/8 of an inch wider top than I have the box, which is good, because if the lid is smaller than the box, it's not gonna cover. It's not gonna be a lid. There's gonna be a hole. So it's real important to make sure that the lid is smaller or bigger than the box itself. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and glue this together. So before I start gluing, I need to make sure I have a few things. I need a couple of clamps. And I'm gonna use 3 box clamps. It can be done with 2, but it's much better to use 3. And so here's what I'm gonna do, is if I hold up 4 fingers, and I'm gonna glue my 4 fingers together. Not advised, don't do it. But if I'm gonna glue 4 fingers together, how many gaps do I have between 4 fingers? I got 1, 2, 3. So I really only put glue on 3 of my fingers in order to glue them all together. Same thing if I have 3 fingers. If I have 3 fingers, I want to glue them together, I have 1, 2 gaps. So for my top, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of wood. Now, to glue that all together, I really only have to put it on 6 of those 7. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn them all towards me on an angle, and then I'm gonna only not turn the last one. I'm gonna set that off to the side. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put glue on this. You don't need a ton of glue, but you do have to have complete coverage, which means you have to have glue on every piece the full length. So if you could zoom in here and see this, you can see I didn't put glue on the full length. It kind of starts there and ends there. But after I take my finger here and I spread it, it's gonna spread on every single piece. It's real important to not make a giant mess out of this. But if you do, you know, you gotta clean it up. Water cleans up glue before it's hardened. After it's hardened, water doesn't clean up glue. A lot of water, like the glue that we use here, it's waterproof. It's Titebond 3. So once it dries, it's waterproof. So it won't come out. It won't come out of your clothes if you get it on your clothes. If you let it dry, you gotta wash that out immediately. So what I'm doing here is I'm spreading it across the entire piece. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this together. I'm gonna put it together on top of a paper towel, because if I put this here on the wood tabletop and then I glue it together and clamp it and leave it overnight, you know what's gonna happen in the morning? This is gonna be stuck to the table, and I'm gonna have my project stuck to the table, and I'll have to hit it off with a hammer or a chisel, and usually it doesn't hurt the table, but it'll break my project. So I'm just gluing this together, pushing each one, pinching it together each time. Here we go. Now that that's pinched together, I'm gonna go ahead and take my clamps and put them on. Now these here are Jorgensen wooden block clamps. The way that these work is I can open up one end, and I can open up the other, and I can open up one, and then open up the other to my desired length. I can lay it down on the table and do this What I like about these is that I can just lay them down on the table and then I can kind of adjust them. Now, if you're good at using these clamps, what I can do is I can take them and I can hold them in my hands, and as long as they're pretty parallel, I just pedal them like a bicycle and they'll close in parallel. Or I can pedal them the other way and they open in parallel. So once you get good at these, oh, they're fast. They're fast, fast, fast clamps. So I've got this adjusted now, tightening it down. I do 2 on each end, and they're very parallel with the wood project. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open this one up, and I'm gonna go 1 straight on top. There we go. So, you know, if you're doing a whole lot of these, or you've got a big group of people, I'm gonna have 20 people maybe doing these all at once here at my shop. So I'm gonna make sure you gotta put your name on it. Put your name on it so you don't lose it or it doesn't get mixed up with anybody else's stuff. So we're gonna let that sit overnight. We're gonna let this sit overnight. The next video, I'm gonna show you how to get the bottom of the box to perfectly fit inside of your box. So that's a pretty cool trick. So stay tuned. Check out the next video on how to glue the bottom of your box into your box.